Emily here with My Spoiled Pet and emilyreynolds.net. So I do nutrition for humans and animals. I have Dave Daly here with Canine Super Supplements.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invite, Emily. I love to share the story and the passion I have for what we're doing, because it goes much deeper than a lot of people probably realize. And then on the flip side of that, I love the whole business aspect of it, because that's been my world.
When you put passion behind anything that you do, you're always coming from a sincere place. I healed myself of chronic illness, and then I started looking at my animals and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in charge of their health. And then I saw what I was feeding them. As you understand, it's just like how we take care of our temple. We are the only ones responsible for doing that for our dogs. Our dogs don't go shopping.
It's not like our dogs can say, hey, my hip is hurting, or
Right.
my skin is irritated, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's up to us to be in alignment, with
Right.
it. And that's such a huge part in this. And it's been such a learning experience for me over how many years I've grown up with animals, and the longer I'm on this planet, the more in tune I feel like I get, right? What I love about dogs is they got their finger or their paw, right, on the pulse of this thing
Totally.
called life, right? That
Mhm.
as us humans are still trying to figure out, this is a moment by moment game.
They're such a gift. I always say they teach us so many things, but you know how every animal you have teaches you something different. Like my dog now, Brownie, he teaches me patience. I realize I've had super easy dogs. I've had a dog with health issues, and food changed the game, gave him an extra 13 years. But he teaches me extraordinary patience. Humans teach us too, but not in the same way as dog. Every animal is a therapy animal. I always say dog is God spelled backwards for a reason.
All started with this guy, this handsome
Aw.
charmer. And when I tell you he was a charmer, unbelievable. So that's my boy Wyatt. He was about
Wow.
1 year old there, and it was between 2002, 2003, back on the East Coast. I'm in San Diego now. It all started with that guy. So
Mhm.
I used to compete with him up and down the East Coast. We competed in agility, weight pull, bite work, and personal protection. Uh, he had
Yeah.
ball drive through the roof. I could throw it for hours, and
Yeah.
he'd just keep coming back. And he loved to train and work out. And he was so physical. He loved it, and I just fed off that. He was like, I was like the dad, and I was
Yeah.
taking my son all over to compete.
That's
And we
cool.
have awards and ribbons and medals, and so it was so much fun. And that picture there, we just got off the field, and he took down a 206 232-pound guy,
Oh
with
my
it.
gosh.
So it was so much fun. But I started to realize, I started to learn some things though. So I got him from a breeder up in Alaska, and the problem was I found out that he had such a limited breeding pool, right? That he had some internal issues.
Yeah.
Number one was, and which led to external issues, right? Which we know that.
Always.
So when we'd work him, his nails would actually splinter, right?
Oh,
And fingernails and the whites of your eyes as humans tell you a whole lot about what's going
absolutely.
on internally, right? And then when we started to do early on bite work, we were trying to figure out what the issue was with his committing to the sleeve, right?
Hmm.
And it never seemed like, and I had some very knowledgeable, seasoned trainers evaluate him, and it was never about the mental issue of commitment, right? He was all in.
It was
Never,
physical.
he never got ran off the field. He was committed
Yeah.
1000%, but there was an issue with the actual bite. He had issues with his saliva not killing the bacteria in his gums.
Wow.
His gums actually, his teeth would hurt, right?
Yeah.
It's internal.
Yeah. And they can't, like you said, they can't tell you, Dad, my teeth hurt.
Exactly, right? And even with that, before I could diagnose that, he was competing.
Yeah.
and still wouldn't stop, right?
Well, that's the thing. Animals will just keep going. They'll
Right.
just keep going, not like humans.
And for all you bull breed owners out there, they actually, their pain tolerance take it to another level.
Sure.
I
Mhm.
learned that with my bull mastiff when he had thyroid, or he had cancer throughout his body, and he wouldn't stop. His
Yeah.
pain tolerance is through the roof. So as I got more and more into that world, I started to gain more and more resources, more and more connections, more and more information, more and more knowledge. And I learned that's about, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago was when I first learned about the raw diet. And I found somebody in New Jersey about about an hour from me that specialized in the raw diet and specialized in certain mixologies in the raw diet, to the extent where some of his contracts were the Philadelphia Zoo, Great
Mhm.
Adventure,
Wow.
putting
That's awesome.
mixologies together for
Yeah.
lion, the carnivores. So
Right. And that's the thing. Excuse me for interrupting. Someone said to me, "What do animals eat in the wild?" And it just hit me. They don't eat kibble. They don't eat cooked food. They
yeah,
eat raw.
yeah, it's so true. And the bones and the marrow and the,
Right.
all of that. So to make a long story short, once I started to really educate myself, and then I would go down and pick his brain,
Mhm.
within 1 month, the nails started, never splintered. Everything started to turn around almost
Beautiful.
instantly. I was so floored. And I tell people this, there's a whole lot of things, Emily, I don't know, but
Yeah.
here's two things I know for sure. The raw diet works,
Mhm.
and acupuncture works. I have a holistic vet in New Jersey, and because of all the years of training, his hips and joints were starting to get a little beat up, right?
Mhm.
And he was probably about 7 years old, and he was having issues jumping in the truck. I used to take him to work with me every day.
Yeah.
Uh, so he'd have issues jumping in the truck. He couldn't, right? And it got worse. She said to me, "Let's let's try acupuncture." And I thought, is this lady flying in some magic carpet? Hey, what?
Sounds a little woo-woo at first.
What?
Yeah.
The fourth half-hour session, he's jumping in the truck. So
Mhm.
two things I know about the animal nutrition and holistic world is those two things work. So Canine Super Supplements was actually created back in 2018, and we did some awesome beta testing. Had to put things on hold, and did an official launch the first of this year. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped in so many different aspects of this, and I'll get into that. But our foundational product is called Primal Power. I wanted to put a product together that does two things, actually three things. Mimics the raw diet on the go,
Mhm.
okay, in a powder form, and we are coming out with a liquid form.
Yay,
Awesome.
Brownie!
Yes, it's going to be awesome, but you don't have to refrigerate. But I wanted to mimic the raw diet on the go and make it as cost effective as we can. We are under $1 a serving. We both know that the majority of people, either because of the educational aspect or the financial aspect, or both, right,
Yep.
really feed commercial feed. And we know that the high temperatures just drains them of the nutrients and all the good stuff.
Denatured dead food for a live body.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
good stuff, right? So I wanted to make sure that the product enhanced the commercial feed, whether it's dry kibble, whether it's canned food, or a combination, and that we could feed it with a little bit of water and create a gravy, or just dry. Enhance the commercial feed, no matter what you feed them, but also complete the raw diet. We have 13, soon to be, I think, close to 17 raw ingredients that will complete the raw diet. And I'm not going to bore people and get into each one and what it does. We have all that information on our website
Yeah.
that you can feel free. And any questions that you have, we will, we have the customer service, and I will answer your questions. So will my manufacturer. But that was the whole concept of this. What can we do to create mimic the raw diet on the go, enhance the commercial food, and complete the raw diet? And we have actually found that in the Primal Power. And
Yeah.
we have some awesome news coming very shortly about some other ingredients that we finally believe we found a resource to include this, because there are some ingredients that I know originally took everything over the top when it came to the original raw diet guide out in New Jersey.
Can I stop? I have
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what my clients would ask. Okay. So for my pet sitting business, My Spoiled Pet, what everybody will say to me is, raw? What do you mean? Buy chicken, throw it, buy chicken at the grocery store and throw it in their bowl. So what exactly is raw food? Can you explain that? Because I know that is the most common question.
The easiest way to explain it is really a common, you want to make sure that you have a now, just so people know, we don't manufacture raw dog food, just supplements that enhance. I have a manufacturer distributor out here that I feed my guy Tua out here in Southern California. You want to make sure that they have knowledge and can answer your questions when it comes to, when a pack of coyotes or wolves, right, kill for their food, or even lions and tigers, right, they will consume the organ meats. They will consume the bones, the marrow, everything. They just know, and the muscle meat, right? They know internally, intuitively,
Intuitively,
right, by
they
nature,
know
what they need, right? What is the best? So you want to make sure that they have the organ meats. You want to make sure that they have the bone marrow and that combination, and you want to make sure that you can connect with them and get your answers, questions answered. And that's a big part of what we do. So it's not just chicken. That's a great question. People think just give them a chicken leg, right?
There's a difference between raw food and complete.
Yes.
So that's what's great about your supplement. It completes it.
Exactly. And when people think about chicken bones, they think splintering. Only if you cook them.
Right.
If you don't cook them, it's not going to splinter, right?
Yeah, good point. Great point.
Yeah, and also a big component in the raw diet, which I believe had so much to do with putting it over the top originally for Wyatt, was tripe. We're going to be able to add in green tripe and organ meats sooner than later with Primal Power, right?
Yes. And you're making so many great points. And I always say knowledge is power. So sometimes when we talk about these things, we're so into it, but people watching might have questions. They might not have ever heard of tripe. But if they have, the first thing they're going to say is, well, where do these supplements, where is this coming from? It's made in America.
Yes.
Because I know for me, one of my aha moments with my dogs was realizing that all these companies from other countries shipping in these denatured cooked products that are fillers and junk put into our dogs' food were from other countries, and they were poisoning dogs. You probably remember, we won't mention any companies, but there were lawsuits and dogs dying from the food. So where you get your food, like we know, I think that most of us know this for us humans, but it's now time that people are starting to think a lot more about their animals, because we look at where our food is from, what country it's shipped from. Your stuff is all made in America, which I think is a huge point.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. And our tagline is human grade. So everything we have in here is actually human grade, American made.
So you can eat with your dog.
That's it. That's it. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. And then to take it a step further, I created a second product that goes hand in hand. So, both me and Emily have been in the fitness industry since we were born. Right? I mean,
I went
forever.
when I was about 12 with my dad to the gym, and I felt so cool. I was the only girl that lifted weights, and I just never stopped.
Yeah, it's our lifestyle, right? And we understand that this is our vehicle to get us through this lifetime.
100%.
So the better you take care of it, the smoother the ride. And so, and the same with your animals. So I owned and operated a very successful sports nutrition store out here in Southern California. And I realized in the human nutrition world, we have something called stacks, right? That means multiple products to get you to the same goal, but using different pathways. How do they enhance one another?
Right. So it all depends on the individual, because not everybody's the same. Not every dog's the same.
What's the goal, right? That what's your end goal? The nice thing about the animals is it's at least more condensed than humans, right? You might have 3 or 4 humans come in and really different goals and different things that
weight loss, competing,
exactly. Changing the lifestyle from the inside out. At least with the dogs, it's a little more condensed, right? A little more basic, as you want to make sure that the coat is healthy, the internal is healthy, the nails and the eyes and the hips and the joints, muscle tissue, flex force, right? It's flex force. What is gonna so
I use that as a snack for Brownie, and he knows. I told you I had to hide these in a cabinet, and this dog he's so well behaved. He never goes in the cabinets. He never eats the couch. He's not that dog. He went in the cabinet. I think it was 2 days after I had the first bag, and he took the bag out, and it was sitting in the kitchen. I was like, you like this stuff, huh?
He's coming right.
I had to move it up.
Yes, there's no question, right?
Yeah.
So what would enhance, but also what is a product that could actually stand alone as well, right? Because the bigger breeds, right? German Shepherds, herders, right?
Yeah.
Are known to have some hip issues, right?
Yep.
So
especially purebred.
Yeah. So what could actually stand alone, but also enhance and work together with Primal Power, and it's definitely Flex Force. So it is going to increase the flexibility, the mobility, the agility, the joints, lubricating the joints, muscle tissue, the hips. So these 2 products are our staple, our foundation, and we're at the point where we're going to be adding more products to our line, but there's so much that we could do to keep adding to these 2 products as well that we're so excited about. And we are working on both being in a liquid form as well.
Yeah. So, and the ease too, because from having your nutrition store, most people want things really easy. They don't want to spend hours in the kitchen. They also don't want to spend hours in the kitchen preparing their animals' food. I had 4 dogs at one point, and before there was, your product line was out and I was feeding 4 animals, it was about $300 a month, because I was doing raw, I was doing healthy, and I added probiotics, the digestive enzymes, some grain, everything to make it complete. About $300 a month, and almost 45 minutes in the morning to feed them. I don't have that problem anymore. And I feed him kibble, raw. Your products can go right on top of both, and it's a scoop. That's it.
Yeah.
It's your scoop, and it takes 10 seconds. Thank you.
I love it. And I definitely, Brown's been on it for what, 2 months now?
2 months. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So 2 months now. Where's that handsome mug?
Come on, Brownie.
There's that handsome mug.
Jump. He's like, do you have something for me? Brownie. Brownie, say hi. He knows I got cookies. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, so 2 months now, and he's a dingo shepherd chow. He's a wild boy. He's got a double coat, so he's a double coated dog.
From where? From where? So
From
people,
from Thailand. Yeah, so he
it's
is from Chiang Mai, Thailand. His original name is Num Tan, which means brown sugar. And I lived in Thailand 2 years, and half of the time in Chiang Mai. Long story short, him and his buddy ran around the wild rice fields, and he slept under a banana stand outside my complex. I would see him every day. The two, I called him brown dog and black dog because he's brown, the dog was black. Blackie one day was not there, Brownie wasn't there, and I found the black dog was poisoned. And I said, this is awful. People that have lived in Thailand know. Unfortunately, the education on animals and the treatment of them can be very different. There's animals all over the streets. So I took Brownie home with me. I said, that's it, you're coming home with me. So he's wild. He's a good boy. But so I rescued him because I knew he wouldn't make it very long, and he's gonna be 9 years old.
wow.
Yeah. But being part wild dingo, they do better not combing them, not grooming them, because of the double coat. It actually makes them kind of dreadlocked. His fur is growing so fast and so thick. I'm like, I kind of need to have him groomed a little bit because he's got so much hair now. He has become this total fluff monster since taking Primal Power and Flex Force for 2 months now.
I love it. You know what? You just uh, created a light that went on. The other thing that I want people to when you start to put them on the Primal Power, one of the things that we're getting awesome feedback on, and we knew this going in because that was part of what separates us, and it'll explain how it enhances the commercial feed and then completes the raw.
Yep.
Is for me, it was the digestion, right?
Mhm.
As you know, Emily, you could take all the best food and nutrients and everything else, but it's the absorption rate that counts,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Just like business, right? Your gross numbers, that's great, but what's your net, right?
Right.
What are you taking home? And
Your
what
gut.
actually, yeah. So one of the things that I noticed with Tua back in 2018 when we finally completed the mixology is less bowel movements, right?
Mhm.
So it's less cleanup. That sounds great. But what
Mhm.
that's really telling you is the absorption rate.
Yep.
Right? That's the key. Which what are you keeping and using as
Exactly.
nutrients?
Yeah. And
Because
we can look at it, we can make so many equal comparisons to humans. Somebody can say, I drink vegetable juice and I take all these supplements, but when I get my blood work done, I'm deficient. It's
yeah,
because the gut health is poor. And if your gut health not only is 80 to 90% of your immune system, but it's the same for the dogs. And if your gut health is poor, all the good nutrition that you're giving yourself or your animals is nothing. So I always say heal your gut, clean your colon to have good health, and it's the same for the animals. So the gut health is number one for their immune system, their digestion, and you can give them all the great food, but if they have poor gut health. And another thing I always tell my online clients and my clients with their dogs, again, it's the same across the board. Look at your poop, look at your dog's poop. If your dog's
yes,
poop is mucousy, they have inflammation, and inflammation is where disease thrives.
yes.
So, all the signs are there. It's just about educating people because knowledge is power. If people don't have the knowledge, they can't make powerful decisions about their animal's life.
It,
So, yeah, you got to look at your dog's poop. You can't
it,
just pick it up.
it's so true. And I'm also going to talk to the breeders out there, right? Um,
Mhm.
we wanted to put a product together that also nursing moms, pregnant,
Yeah.
right? Moms will flourish from,
Yep.
right? So again, and make it easy.
Mhm.
And the other thing was, and you could speak to this because you had mentioned that Brown, believe it or not, even though he was a street dog in Thailand, was still finicky, right?
Yeah.
And we've had some awesome testimonial videos showing their dogs just going crazy over the taste, right?
Yeah.
And that's so important because no matter what, if they're not going to eat, they're not going to get the nutrients. And
Exactly.
that was the other thing that we wanted to make. And I think we're going to take it to another level with the liquid because of the smell now. So they're going to
Oh
have the
yeah.
smell with the taste.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Some people say raw food, ooh, that's gross. Your food is powdered. You can add water, so like it makes a gravy, but it doesn't smell bad at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a even a slightly strong scent to it, but it's still so desirable. I mean, I go near that cabinet and he is extremely finicky. Even when he was a street dog in Thailand, they would always give me at the sushi place that I would go to, they would put fried chicken on the side. I thought, oh my God, these dogs are going to die. Blackie would eat the fried chicken. Brownie wouldn't touch it. He is so picky. He only likes raw food and very high quality kibble. He's super picky about food. You put anything in front of him and he has to sniff around it, look at it, and sometimes he'll take it to his bed and think about it. This stuff, no, he's like licking the bowl and I'm taking the bowl away to wash it because I gotta go, and he's licking and licking. So he approves.
That's interesting. And it's really interesting to me after you shared the story about Black who died of poison. That might have saved his, that there might have been something, right?
He knew.
Yes.
He disappeared. He disappeared for 3 full days. Couldn't find him.
You know, he could have been poisoned but got sick and never died, and then realized that, you know, that's I love that. That's interesting.
Instincts. Yeah, because Blackie would eat anything.
Right.
Brownie would not. So you know.
That's interesting.
I never thought about it like that. That's cool.
Yeah, 2 different journeys.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. Now, that's my passion on starting this. That's been my 30,000 foot view, my background starting in the early 2000s. Now, the other thing I love about this, which, you know, business and building businesses and being an entrepreneur, and doing it on my terms, because it becomes my oxygen, right? So, and for me, it's always a non-negotiable in my life is if it's not a win-win, I don't want anything to do with it. So on the business aspect of it, we want to connect with influencers and the everyday people that see an opportunity to jump in and become part of the animal nutrition, dog, canine nutrition world that they have such a passion for, but we want to give them an opportunity. So we have I believe an awesome win-win opportunity to where if it's a product that you see value in, your animals like it, you're starting to see results, and you want to become part of the Primal Pack. We will set you up with your own code. Anybody that you refer will get 15% off their first order. You'll get a 15% commission. And if they become part of the Primal Pack, which is a subscription model, and you can opt out anytime, you will also get your same 15% commission from the people that become part of the Primal Pack. So that's great. For me, that feeds me in a whole nother way.
Genuine, authentic people that see where you're going with this and want to be part of it. In life, people who are authentic with their purpose are always more successful. And when you step forward with an authentic foot forward, those are the kind of people that you're going to attract. And you want people who are passionate and love animals and love, you know, maybe they don't even know about nutrition, but they love animals.
That's a non-negotiable for me. It's got to be a win-win, or I don't want anything to do with it. So, so that's really the 30,000 foot view of canine super supplements. You know, human grade, American made, like we said, and it's such a passion for me. And we just launched the first of this year, and we have a really, really awesome 3-year plan for this that we are so excited about. And when I say we, my business partner is my manufacturer and distributor down in Oklahoma. And we probably should do a show with him on as well to
Totally.
answer manufacturing, right? Questions,
Right.
answer the mixologies,
Yeah.
answer those questions. So, yeah, I mean,
Because
I am,
there's all levels, like I said, knowledge is power. Some people don't have any knowledge and they want to know every single thing. Other people just want to look at the ingredients. But people are becoming a lot more knowledgeable, or at least a lot more interested in feeding their animals the right food, as there has become more of a movement for health and nutrition when we've started to learn about where our food is manufactured and genetically modified. And unfortunately, the poisons that are put into our food, and now taking it to the level of our animals. It's in our food, it's also in their food. You know, you go to the big box store, I tell people, you go to the big box store for your animal's food, it's just like feeding your child McDonald's.
yeah, it's
It
processed.
is.
It's it's processed at such a high level that
Right.
you're just a number.
Right.
That's
Just
all.
like there's childhood cancer and autism and all these things that, we just sit around and say, oh, it's so sad. No, I want to know why. I want to know how. I want to know how to reverse it. Just like with I had Graves' disease, fibromyalgia, Crohn's, and doctors said, you just take these medications and join a support group and be around miserable people like you. This way. I said, no, I wasn't born this way. And I don't want to stay this way. So I'm going to reverse this. And same with animals, so being able to educate people about what they feed their animals, what you put in your body, your vessel, your vehicle is everything.
It, it,
Everything.
it truly, lifestyle dictates everything. And the other thing, and we have to say this, right? Um, this is not the end all, right? This
Mhm.
will never be the end all. It's about the lifestyle. So
Yeah.
the more you walk your dog, right? The
Mhm.
more you exercise your animals, the better that they sleep, right? It's
Mhm.
just like us. It's the lifestyle dictates everything, right? And it's the whole the reason that lifestyle is so important for me and my guy is because it's all about the quality of life in the moment, right? So if we feel good in this moment, that just means we're winning.
Yeah. And making sure that, you know, you're providing the life that this dog or this breed or that personality of dog needs. That's another thing that we could talk about probably for a whole nother hour is
Yeah,
pairing people with the right animal, you know.
yeah. That's
um
oh, that
yeah,
is yeah,
people don't know sometimes. Like, we're both in Southern California, sunny, beautiful San Diego, and I'm seeing an increase in huskies. It's not necessarily the environment for them, but I tell people, if you're going to get a husky, know what kind of dog you're getting. An escape artist, you're getting one that can jump, one that howls, one that's going to talk back, one that's very intelligent. If you just go to your 9 to 5 and you just want to lock your dog in the house, guess what? That husky is going to be miserable, and you can't do that to your dog. So food is important, pairing the right animal with the right person. We love our animals, but sometimes people look at the cute picture of the dog and don't think about everything that's behind it. So I think having this product line, it gives you such a great opportunity to educate people on another level, not just about nutrition, but how to really provide the best home for the animal, because we all love dogs, but not all dogs are meant for us. I say I love every dog, but now that I've had my business 11 years now in pet sitting, knowing different breeds, I know which dogs are for me and which dogs aren't.
yeah. That is such a great point because that could be the deal killer, right? That could be the one why they go
Right.
back to the rescue because
Yep.
it's not connected. Lack of information, lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom. One of the other things I want to close this out with is
Mhm.
I wanted I wanted our product lines to be able to hit multiple areas on this level. So whether um, your dog is your family member and your pet, whether your um, crew, your pack is part of your breeding program, whether your um, dogs, your pack is your working breed, right? Your sheepdog, your border collie, your
Yep.
canine unit, right? We this will fit into their world no matter what. So whether it's a high-end athlete,
Hmm.
right? Or your everyday family member in your pet,
Right.
you can't go wrong.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a basic all around. If you got a Chihuahua that likes to sit on their furry pink blanket all day and wait for you to go into the purse and go hang out with you,
And is a
to your
finicky
pit bulls.
eater,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
is right the
Yes.
princess, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
runs the
This
house.
is what I call a great topper, because that's become a popular
Yes.
industry. So many of my clients, they got their food and then the dog won't eat the food, but that's a whole nother issue too, because sometimes it's not the right food. They have to put something on top. So this is a great topper to get your dogs to eat for the finicky ones.
Great point. So, yeah, I want to thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Dave. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sharing your real world stories and experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
We could go on forever, and I'm sure we'll do this again. Thank you so much. And yeah, we got to protect, love, and nourish our animals, because that's the biggest thing that I try to get across to people about animals. We are completely in charge of the direction that their life goes. So we have to learn as much as we can for them, and communicate with them. So this nutrition part of it, thank you for helping educate us, because it's huge.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. And we
Yeah.
will be back, and we'll bring my business partner Hop on
Cool.
and have a blast.
I love that.